In this video, we're going to talk about power distribution cables, or for a simpler term, it's cables that run from like your battery to your starter, and from your frame of your vehicle back up to your battery for your grounding. There's some smaller ones that run from like a distribution center over to a relay or a solenoid of that type. But first thing we want to do is welcome some new subscribers. Chris Morris Roberts, Justin Earp, M. Sylvan 59, Andre Robinson, and John Della Oya. And I hope that's correct, John. That's Italian, I'm assuming, but I'm not very versed on that. So anyway, I want to welcome you guys as new subscribers, and hope we can learn something from each other. So I want to show you another application where these cables can be seen. This is on our truck that we're going to be featuring, that we got off our auction, that we're going to work on and try to get ready to resell. And let's walk over here and show you another where you can get these. This is on a tow motor or a forklift. A little bit larger size there, running from the back to the ground, and again there from the positive side down to the starter. So let's look at some of these out, and we'll show you how to process them and what you can get out of them. This is some different varieties of these cables. This one's a pretty good size one that came was a grounding unit on an old tractor, like a road tractor, like pulls a trailer, I guess. And these are some smaller ones. And these have the, I guess, cast, or they're not lead, I don't think, but they're a softer metal, so they can be bent back and forth to contour to the shafts that's coming up out of the batteries. But you want to pay close attention to these and make sure you don't throw away anything that's valuable. These that are soft, this cast, you can cut those off and just put them in your general scrap shred that you're taking. But you look on these and you can tell, look a little bit closer, and it looks almost the same if you hold them side to side. But you take this on your grinding wheel and move that on your rough surface a little bit, and then you can tell that's going to be yellow brass in there. So you want to make sure you separate those out and not lose any value. And this is what ultimately you're going to wind up with. Now this actually is going to go, well, it's got a little bit of dark there, but we may trim that off if we can't get it to clean up with our ketchup and water solution. That would be Bear Bright, and that's, believe it or not, that's almost a pound there. That's pretty heavy. And you can see this one's been used pretty extensively. It's probably went to a starter, and it's got some darkening there, especially on the end. Those things take so much heat, electricity that runs through them, for like turning over a large starter or something. They'll darken up pretty good. We'll trim that end off there, and then get this cleaned up, and that'll go in our Bear Bright also. And how I clean these up, while we're getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I trim these ends off, and I've showed you before I use a PVC pipe cutter. That's right, a PVC pipe cutter. You can just put that right around the copper part. Now it's not going to cut the brass part, but you just put it around the copper part, and it ratchets down on that, and it does a good job of cutting that loose. And how I get started with taking this rubber coating off is I always lay them out in the sun, and lay them out in the sun for just a little while. And I mean, look how limber that's got already, and it softens up that rubber housing casing that's on there and makes it real easy to come off. And then the next thing I do is, of course, I don the old gloves, get my eye protection on, and then I just these short ones, I'll try to clamp those down to something, so I've got one hand on the blade and the other hand, away from what I'm cutting. So, if you were to cut down that way and you're trying to hold this end or something, you might slip off of that and wind up not taking the cover off of the wire. You wind up taking the cover off your thumb, which is not any good. Now these longer ones, I will take whatever size bolt that I have available, or even a good size 16 penny nail, and I'll either drive that in a 2x4 in my storage building or something and let this cable stretch out and cut it that way. But what you're going to do is you're just once you get your safety gloves and glasses and stuff on, you're just going to cut through here. I don't know if I can get this to cut. Yeah, let's see how easy that cuts there, and see if I can get it to come on down. And that's going to expose that, and literally you could just pop that off right there. I try not to do anything without my gloves on for reference, but see how easy that come off, and you can really tell there that that's going to be a yellow brass fitting. So once you cut this down through here, and let's see if I can get a little bit of it cut loose without. This one hadn't been in the sun very long, so yeah, that's not going to want to move very good without having something in it. It might cut through there, but yeah, that's not going to come loose. But anyway, you can tell what the inside of the wire is going to look like. If it's going to look like this, if you're going to need to clean it up, or if you're going to leave it dark like that, and as number 1 copper, or you can go as number 2 and leave this yellow brass fitting on it. It depends on what your yard's going to do, and it depends on what kind of value you get on it. I like to clean stuff up and try to get it back to that number 1 or Bear Bright over there as quickly as possible. But that's the different styles. Make sure you take these off, because you don't want to lose completely your value of that. And once you do get these ends cut off, if you want to, you can put that in your number 2 copper, because that's going to be like I said, yellow brass and copper. So my yard will take them as a number 2 copper, because it has enough copper in them. So if you're scrapping out a truck, or if you see these things out at the flea market or something, believe it or not, I've seen these at the flea market. Somebody wants 50 cents for the whole thing, and it's definitely worth it to bring it back and cut those loose. But set them out in the sun first, get them limbered up, and that's going to help you out a whole lot. And scrap those things out, and welcome new subscribers, and get out there and make that money. And again, thanks for watching, and happy scrapping.